What would a trip to Disneyland be without rides? And if you're visiting the Disneyland Resort during the holidays, there's some things you should know before you plan your days at the parks. So let's get started. First, let's get all the bad news out of the way and talk about all the ride closures that are going to be going on during the holiday season. Let's start with some breaking news out of DCA. On December 10th, the Beast Library found inside the animation building in Hollywoodland will be closing permanently to make room for a Disney Vacation Club welcome center. Not cool, guys. Not cool. I am not okay with this. This was a fun little attraction to do when the weather was crazy or you just needed a break from the rides and the crowds, to take a fun quiz to find out what Disney character you are. Now it will just be a random dead zone and only available to a small elect few. I'm not okay with this. That's all I'm going to say about it. So if you're going to Disneyland before December 10th, make sure you head over there and say all of your goodbyes. The Mark Twain Riverboat will be down from now all the way until the next year. I don't know if this is just a really big refurb or it's connected to getting ready for Fantasmic. Either way, I'm pretty bummed out because there's nothing better than riding the Mark Twain Riverboat at night during Christmas time. It's something special you can do when they don't have Fantasmic going on, and it's just really magical, so I'm a little bit sad about that. Of course, Splash Mountain will continue to be closed while they continue the work on it, so plan on seeing construction walls and scaffolding around that area. Starting November 27th, you'll have a couple of rides go down for refurbs, starting with Indiana Jones. This will be a short closure, opening back up on December 1st. The Incredicoaster will also go down November 27th, and it will open back up shortly after Indiana Jones on December 2nd. The Astro Orbiter will go down on November 27th, but it will continue to be closed until for as long as we can see on the calendar. To end on a good note, the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse is finally open after a very long closure, transforming it from Tarzan's Treehouse back to Swiss Family Robinson. Let's move on to what rides will have special overlays for the holiday season, starting in Disneyland proper with the Haunted Mansion. This means the Haunted Mansion will be taken over by all of the Nightmare Before Christmas characters. If you're someone who's usually put off by the Haunted Mansion or you have kiddos that get scared in it, this version is a little bit more friendly and a little bit more like fluorescent colors and fun characters and slightly less spooky, ghosty, murdery in my opinion. There will always be the great debate as to whether or not the Haunted Mansion holiday should be up for half of the year. Some people absolutely love it and others don't. For me, it's like picking one of my children to be my favorite. I love them both equally. Usually the Haunted Mansion doesn't have an overly long wait, but when it has this holiday overlay, the wait can get really outrageous, so I highly suggest either rope dropping this ride or riding it at the very end of the night. The absolute shortest wait times you'll see for this ride will be the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day. It'll probably be the most busy from 5 to 8 p.m. There seems to be a surge when the sun sets of everyone wanting to ride that ride. It's a Small World in Fantasyland will be the other ride in Disneyland that gets a holiday overlay. This is the only time of year that you will hear 3 different songs in this ride. You'll hear Jingle Bells, Deck the Halls, in addition to the classic It's a Small World song. Just like the Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World gets a full redecoration on the inside and out for this time of year. Every single scene in this ride will have some kind of holiday addition or enhancement going on that makes it even more bright and more cute than it already is. Now, just like the Haunted Mansion, this ride slowly gets busier and busier throughout the day, but then it gets especially busy the second the sun sets and the lights are lit up on the outside of the building. But the thing is, this ride is the exact same whether it's daytime or nighttime, because it's an indoor ride. So rope drop it when it's a walk-on, and then go back to the ride later on at night to experience the lights and the magic and the projections going on the outside, but then you don't have to wait in a 60 to 70 minute line for It's a Small World. I mean, it's a super cute overlay, but I am not waiting 65 minutes for that ride. Sorry. Over in DCA, the two rides that get a holiday overlay are both in the Carsland. The first will be Mater's Jingle Jamboree. Now, the ride experience is the same with this overlay. The biggest difference is in the soundtrack. Mater sings little different Christmas songs with his own flair, of course. This ride usually has the shortest waits in Carsland, unless Radiator Springs Racers is closed down, then the waits go up. Don't ride this ride if Radiator Springs Racers is down. That is the worst time to ride it, that's when the waits are the longest. Same thing over at Luigi's. It turns into Luigi's Joy to the Whirl. You'll have some extra Christmas decorations on the outside and a new holiday soundtrack. Same wait time rules apply with this ride. If Radiator Springs Racers goes down, this ride jumps to an immediate 30 to 40 minute wait, so just go to another land if that happens. But my little ones love this ride. Beyond the information that I've already given you, I want to give you a few more thoughts and tips on the rides for this time of year, and even any time of year to keep in your back pocket. Let's talk about rope dropping. The holidays is a time when showing up at the parks first thing in the morning is very important, especially on busy days. There's a lot of ways someone can go about taking advantage of those lovely first 2 hours of the day. When the sun is just rising, everything still has that morning dew on it, the characters are out in full swing, and the ride waits are short. Now, I'm not going to get all of the nitty-gritty details of rope drop strategy for today, but there is a few quick tips that I really want to talk about. First, check the app and make sure the ride is even running before you speed walk to that ride that you want to rope drop, especially rides that are far away like Rise of the Resistance, Radiator Racers, and Mickey's and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and also Space Mountain. Not only does it waste your time to head over to a ride that's closed, but then you find yourself with a bunch of other people with the now what look on their face, and now you're regrouping with everyone else, and it's the worst. So check the app. My next tip is my personal strategy I use when I rope drop. It goes very much against popular opinion and what most people do, but hear me out on this one. Trying to hit all the biggest and most popular rides one right after the other at rope drop is a fine enough plan, but it is exhausting. These parks are big and they don't put all the popular rides right next to each other for obvious reasons. This is why I like to rope drop areas where you can bundle rides. There are 4 lands in the Disneyland Resort that are really great for this technique. They consistently have extremely short wait times first thing in the morning and are very predictable that way. So if you do it right, you can hit anywhere from 6 to 11 rides in the first 2 hours of the day, with a few of those rides being the popular ones. There's gonna be no other time of day or area where you can do this except these 4 areas first thing in the morning. Let me show you what I mean. Starting off with Fantasyland and ToonTown. And I know what you're thinking, who drops Fantasyland and ToonTown, but hear me out, check this out. And this is very consistent every single day. Now, the only ride I would exclude from this is probably the Peter Pan ride, because that's going to be a 30-minute plus ride, no matter what, so it's a ride any time of the day when you feel like waiting in line ride. The other nice thing about these areas in the morning is if there is a ride that's closed, there's so many rides nearby that it's not too hard to just jump on a different ride. And the other thing about Fantasyland and ToonTown is once that first parade hits, those areas get really crowded and they don't calm down after that until like the last hour of the day. So in my opinion, 3 to 8 p.m. is like the worst time to hit Fantasyland. These wait times are all from the same day. Look at what happens when we hit parade time and beyond. These wait times are also from this year's holiday season, so you can see what happens to It's a Small World the second the sun sets, and they light up the exterior. Do you see what I mean? I'm just trying to save you some time and help you avoid crowds a little bit. Now this video's not over yet, but I do want to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you're finding it helpful so far. It helps me out with the almighty algorithm, so I really appreciate it. The areas I like to do this technique with in DCA are going to be the Pixar Pier and the Paradise Gardens area. I know, another shocker, but again, hear me out on it. If you don't know the magic of hitting Pixar Pier first thing in the morning when there's nobody out and you can just hit ride after ride, it's amazing. I highly suggest it. Most definitely try to hit Midway Mania first because that one bumps up really fast. Same with Goofy Sky School. All the other rides will stay around 20 minutes or less until you start getting close to lunchtime and you start getting the crowds for those food festivals. For DCA in the Christmas time, I like to ride rides like crazy in the morning, and then I enjoy all the food and the entertainment in the afternoon. It also helps to get a lot of these rides in the morning because a lot of them close or get really busy around the World of Color times. Usually what happens in DCA is everybody rope drops Cars for the Cars ride or Avengers Campus. And I've got to tell you, those two areas are really temperamental and really hard to predict when it's going to be busy and not busy. And the big rides in those areas close down frequently. And when rides in these areas close, the other small handful of rides next to them, their wait times go way high. What I'm saying is these two lands are a bit of a gamble to rope drop at. I really take it day by day with these ones. They're extremely dependent on rides functioning and crowd behaviors, both of which can be very fickle and hard to predict. Galaxy's Edge is very similar to Avengers Campus and Carsland this way. Fresh Baked just did a good deep dive of the Rise of the Resistance wait time, so I'd check that out if you're interested in going on Rise in the morning. My other suggestion for Christmas time is to make sure you take time to go on those transportation rides like the Columbia, the Omnibus, the train, the monorail. These rides give you the opportunity to step back and enjoy the view, take in all the sights and sounds and see the big picture, and see things from a different point of view. The train is especially magical at night. I highly suggest taking the full loop and seeing every single land all lit up and decorated for Christmas. And if you enjoyed this video today, then you may also like some of my other videos from my Holiday Tips series, or check out my channel for even more videos. Thanks for watching and take care.